Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Michelle Vitale for having us here at HCCC for the JCAST warm-up. My name is Ann McTurnan. This is Sophie Pencrat. We're from the Office of Culture Affairs. We also want to thank Robinson Holloway for inviting us as well to this event. And let's get started.
Okay, so as Robinson really helped facilitate this, as well as Michelle, thank you so much. But what we want to do is sort of give you a little warm-up, a little idea of what we have planned for the tour this year. And then also, John Fitch over here is going to be walking us through the website and kind of giving you an idea a little bit more about how to utilize the website, and then for any of you artists, how to make sure that you get your artwork up there, for any of the venues to see how you can look for artists if you don't have any artists yet setting your venue, etc. So we can go to the first slide. Okay, so just to kind of kick it off, so you all know there's some really important dates that are coming up. There's this event today. We actually launched the website yesterday. We are constantly making updates to it. And so just everybody knows what the website is, the JCAST.com. We have been putting that out on social media, and then we're going to continue pushing that out there. And if you guys want to also put it out on your social media or on your websites, we welcome that as well. We will be having, like I said, another orientation that will be hosted by Cultural Affairs at City Chambers. That's going to be on the 8th of August. I almost said October. That's from 7 to 9, and that is actually on that flyer that Ann was passing out. And it's going to be a very similar sort of event as this. It's also another meet and greet. And that is going to be in the Rotunda and City Chambers, which is on the second floor. Most importantly is registration deadline, which is August 14th. It is pretty soon, actually, so you have a little bit less than a month, but don't be worried. As long as you are registered into the system, you can continue to update your information even after you have already registered. So as long as you're in, that's the most important thing. But venues, if you want to put a venue in after the deadline, it'll make it a little bit more difficult. We'll have to manually do that, and then you may not make it on the map. So just kind of keep that in mind. When it comes to the weekend itself, it's going to be October 13th. This is the second week in October. So October 13th is the kickoff. The weekend itself, when we're asking all of the venues, the galleries, and artists to actually open their doors, it's the 13th and the 14th. And then the closing party's on the 15th. Where those locations are still kind of TBD. So we will continue updating you on that information, but right now we're researching it, you could say. But just kind of keep in mind, this is actually a weekend later than we've typically done it in the past. It usually was the first weekend, and we're doing the second week in October. So, okay, any questions so far? Great, move on. This is just a little reminder about this is that flyer, so just another kind of pitch for that event as well, and definitely to get the word out about that. Okay, so just to give you a really sort of top-level overview of what we envision the Jersey City Art and Studio Tour to be this year. We want to bring it back to what, like we say here in the first bullet, we want to put the tour back into Jersey City Art and Studio Tour. So we want to decentralize the event. We want to get it back out into the neighborhoods. We want artists, we invite as many artists as possible to open their doors to the public. We want people in the various neighborhoods, or in each neighborhood, to go out. We want them to tour each neighborhood. We want them to see what the rest of their city is like, and the fact that each neighborhood and each ward in our city is vibrant and rich with the arts. And so the best way to do that is to make sure that we have centralized hubs in each one of the wards, but then we have sort of a spoke and wheel sort of event of venues that are kind of coming out from that area. So by doing that, we're hoping that all of you will kind of come on board with that and really bring that tour to life. With regards to the public, what we're going to do then is, I think I'm kind of jumping around here, but with the public is that we will facilitate the transfer from neighborhood to neighborhood to make it a lot easier. We want people to go out. We want them to go out to the various venues. We want them to interact with the artists. By having large events all the time, that one-on-one interaction is sometimes lost. So we want to bring that back to life a lot, basically. So that's where I'm saying we're inviting more venues across all neighborhoods to participate and artists to open their studios to the public. And then this is actually something that Ann and I are working on right now, is building more connections. We're going to go out and we're going to scout out more venues to get more, if there are obviously a lot of venues that are out there, sometimes they don't even know that this event is happening. So we want to make sure that there are lots of venues out there that it's not, and then all the galleries know that what's going on, and that they are signing up to be a venue, and then that they can go in and pull from the pool of artists who are submitting their artwork on the website. We're also going to be working with various partners, such as, with like Bike JCs and one example, and we can do like a bike tour of like the murals, or do it working with, I don't know, there was a couple of other ideas, like female artist tour with like Jersey Girls,
or
or
LGBT community we were talking about.
Yeah,
reaching
so
out to them. Even Chickpea JC could do one. You know,
kind of thing,
different
like
perspectives.
creating these like theme tours throughout the whole weekend to kind of make it a little bit, kind of liven it up a little bit more and just bring more excitement into the whole entire event. Question?
Yeah, just a question on the hubs. If you could tell us a little bit more about the hubs, or maybe that's coming up in your presentation, but if they're going to be, say, an existing gallery, or is it going to be more like 150 Pacific last year?
So it's not going to be, so 150 Pacific was one large venue that had like lots of artwork, right? So it's not going to be like that. We're looking at smaller venues in each neighborhood
to create clusters.
Those venues are still TBD. It can be a gallery. It can be like a library space. It could be a really
storefront that hasn't been turned into an actual commercial space
Yeah.
yet. So stuff like that.
So if you guys have suggestions, we absolutely welcome them. If you think that there's in your particular ward there is an untapped space that kind of needs to be livened up, or people should hear more about it, let us know, and we'll go out and we can speak to them, or just make sure you make that connection. Okay.
I'm just going to save questions for the end.
Oh, because you can't hear them on the mic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so what are some of the benefits? So the JCAC, it says juried, but it's actually not going to be a juried show, so we'll just move on from there. But JCAC is participating. They are going to have a show, and Robinson can speak to that, or you can speak directly to Robinson about that. Like I was saying before, we were trying to bring to life this meet and greet, meeting the artists, meeting the curators, meeting the venue proprietors one-on-one. We're trying to kind of get the public interacting more one-on-one with the community. We're trying to bring that community, that arts community, back together again. Not that it has been disparate, I'm just saying we want to make it even better, make it even livelier. And another benefit is we will be putting a lot of advertising and support behind this event. We will be putting out path ads like we've done in the past. We also are going to be doing a Hudson Reporter takeover. So there's like a center section where we did this actually a few years ago, and we're going to be doing this again, where the map will actually be printed in the Hudson Reporter. So, so we're going to be doing that as well. And one of the big things we're going to put behind it is that the public should not only view the art, we want them to buy the art. We want them to support Jersey City artists. We want as many people out there in Jersey City hanging or displaying Jersey City art in their homes, in their gardens, etc. Like, we just want people to really interact more with our really vibrant art community. So just as a reminder, you can participate as an artist, a curator, or a venue. And I mean, you can kind of read here what it says, but the biggest question often in the past has been, okay, if I'm an artist and I haven't hooked myself out to a curator, or I don't have a part of a theme show, or I don't have a venue, how do I get in on that? And so John is actually going to talk to that a little bit more on how to do that on the website. And one of the things that we're also going to do from our office's perspective is there's a newsreel that is constantly going to be we're going to be uploading information constantly on the website itself. So we'll put up there like, hey, there's this new venue that's going to be accepting art. Why don't you go out and connect with them? So we're encouraging the artists and the venues to connect with one another to kind of get that conversation going. So you'll see how that'll work on the website, but also we are going to try to facilitate that as much as possible with the website and with social media. So John's going to kind of go a little bit more into this, but onto the site itself. As you all know, the website is the JCAST.com. One of the things that we did this year to simplify the whole situation is that you can, when you register, You only have to use one email address. Some of you have participated in the past. You had to use multiple email addresses if you were a curator, an artist, and a venue. It's no longer like that. You can actually sign up under one user, and you can sign up as each one of those things and create one profile with all of that information in there. So it's a lot simpler in general. You will also be able to search for in the pool a lot more easily if you are a curator or a venue. No, that's okay. Yeah, and so like I said, also we'll be continuing to update information on the site throughout over the next several months. Especially when it's leading up to the end of registration, we want to make sure people are getting in there. So this sort of reiterates that where we're going to be making those updates. Just make sure that if you're not following us on Facebook, we really ask you to kind of sign up on there, because we also have all of our events on there too. And events are going on across the city, so just take a look at that. And that's kind of it. We also have all of our information. We want to make sure that you're not just sending an email or calling a phone number that's random. These are our actual email addresses. We want people to be able to reach us one-on-one, and know that your questions aren't being submitted into a hole. And also just know that we're going to be posting these slides up so that all of that information will be available. Because I know for me, the most frustrating thing is when I send an email to somebody and I don't hear ever back. So we don't want that to happen. We want everybody to know that our office has an open door policy. We're always welcome to communicate with you. If you have a problem or if you have an idea, we want you to come to us, because we want to either bring your idea to life, if we can. Sometimes it's hard to get doves or something, I don't know. But otherwise, and then if there's a problem, we want to address it and we want to make it better. So anyway, that's it. And then let's hold the questions off, and then because we're going to go right into the website part. So John Fitch actually has worked with Surge, and they helped us develop this website. So John's going to kind of walk you through the whole process of how it works.
Okay, here is the news. Well, first of all, right now we're looking at a little section called JCAST2017.pitchgroup.com. This is our development platform, so don't go typing that in. If you notice, the JCAST.com looks identical. It's an identical site, but this is where we do our little development, and this is where I'll do our little demo today. But it is identical to what you will be using. Let me log off. I'm already logged in. Okay, so this is what it'll look like when you first land. We have some FAQs, some schedules, some map tabs that are grayed out for now. As the weeks go by, those things will start to come to life, and you'll have more opportunities over there. But for now, we're focused on logins and registrations. So put that. Here's that little news section that Sophie was talking about. They can add things to this, and you'll get a date and a little news blurb. So it gives us a reason to check in. But let's log in. So, who here registered last year? Several of us. You can start by adding that email that you used last year. And if we recognize that email, if you registered last year, you'll have an opportunity to type in the password from last year or regenerate a new one and email it to the account on record. So if I type in something that is recognized, let's take Sergey for example, it'll say, oh, we found you, welcome back, enter your password. If you can't find that confirmation email for last year or don't remember some random password, I understand that. So you just click forgot password here, and it'll walk you through, and it'll auto send a new password to that email account on file. But for now, let's create a new one. I'm going to type in this email address which has not yet been used, and we'll get our registration form. And excuse the contrast here, we could not turn off the sunshine, but I will read out what these were for you. We need a first name, and I'll go in and make a fake account. Last name. I have my email in there. They'll want a phone number. 123-123-1234, home address. At this point, we don't need to be Jersey City residents. Obviously, anybody can register from all over. Where you'll be locked in is when you try and add a venue, you'll need a Jersey City, and we'll back check it with the Google Maps API. You'll need a Jersey City address and a Jersey City zip, but at this point, we don't need. So we'll do 123 Grand Street. I shouldn't do that because it might be Jersey City. We'll do 74th Street, okay. This subdivision section is not terribly important here, but it is more important when uploading your venue. If you're on a specific floor, a specific studio, you'll want to put 403B or second floor or third floor here. It's very important because that's what will be used on the pin on the map, and that's how people will be able to find you. So make sure to put any kind of subdivision or floor or back door, whatever you need to put in there. city. Let's do Brooklyn. Let's find some state. This doesn't have to be real. That's Sergey over there. He's helping the development. Say hello. We'll put in a little bio. This is not your artist bio. This is not your venue bio. This is your person. You're just acting as a user right now. If you have some social media that you'd like to add on there, you select, let me put my Behance profile in. It'll give you a field for that. You put your Behance handle, if you have Twitter or what have you. This section here is rather important. You can edit it later or make a choice now. This is going to be your personal JCAST website. Every user gets their own site this year, and it will be thejcast.com/whatever you want it to be. Right now it'll auto-generate the first name you have in there, but if I want this to be John's art, I put that here at this step, and now once I start adding art and adding venues and adding concepts, I can share this URL with people and it'll be displayed there. That'll function as my hub. And none of your personal information will be on those sites. There'll be a button to email you, and when a user clicks that, they'll be able to email you, but they won't see your email address. So if a curator sees a piece of art he likes, he'll be able to contact you through your website, without knowing your phone number or email address. This last part is the CAPTCHA. It is in fact case sensitive. I'm just retyping what I see there. It says October, and I'm going to save it. Okay, fantastic. It has sent me an email. Some people have been saying this stuff is getting pushed to junk folders, so check those. But other than that, it should be here. Oh, and here it is. That really happened live. Okay. So in there, you'll have this little bold password right here. Excuse the size of this. Let me zoom in and drop for you guys. You'll have, excuse me. I overdid it. Here it is. You'll have your little password. I would just copy it, and it will bring you to the login screen. I just went back to the screen I was at. You paste it in there, and you log in. And here we are at the dashboard. The new dashboard. We're not going to remember the password. This is how you get back to the dashboard, this little button at the top, and here is where we can behave as an artist, a venue, or a curatorial concept this year. And you have an opportunity to add one from one section or multiple in each section. I'm going to start in the middle with venue. As of right now, you will see zeros because I'm a new user. I didn't have anything last year. If you were in fact registered last year, anything you uploaded from last year would be pushed into this bottom row, inactive. And if you didn't want to type in, Ms. Holloway, we were just speaking about it, if you didn't want to type in all your venue information again and you kind of wanted to refresh this one for 2017, I'll show you how to do that in one moment. But anything you put up last year will be in this bottom row. Anything new that you add will start to fall into these top categories, and we'll get into that. Let's start with the venue. What do you say, Serge? Okay. Add a venue. Venue name, John's venue. Venue address. Here is where we need to be real. What City Hall? 280 Grove, is it?
Yeah, 280 Grove.
Let's start with that. Venue floor. They work all the way up on the 4th floor. Jersey City, we need to put that here. Anything other than Jersey City, it will say, I'm afraid not. And 07...
302.
302. There it is. You'll need a phone, 123, 123, 1234. Social media, again, you could add your different handles. These are rather important questions. Is it family friendly? Is it wheelchair accessible? Do you need assistance finding artists to host? Those are all options. If you do check yes to that, I recommend that you click a couple of these. These are the different mediums that we think that Jersey City residents are kind of creating nowadays. So if you do want assistance finding artists to host, click a couple of these and that'll help Ms. McTiernan and Ms. Pencraft link you up with appropriate artists. We want to put your hours of operation on those 2 days is vitally important, so we'll pop those in. Okay. Very important checkbox. If you were to click save right now without checking that checkbox, this would sit in the inactive folder. This checkbox does two things. It says, I do in fact want to register this for 2017, and it also allows the Department of Cultural Affairs to use your uploads in some of their promotional materials. They're not going out making magazines and selling them, but in case, this just kind of clears them of any legal problems down the road, but I don't think they're going to be profiting off of this. but you must check it. You can, if you don't check it now, you have an opportunity to check it later, but you must check it. And, Ms. Holloway, this is the same checkbox that you would check at the bottom of last year's venue to re-push it forward for 2017. So if you were to open this, if I were to click venue down here, if I had one and clicked and all my information from last year was here, this would not be checked. You recheck this, press save, and it gets pushed to active again. So let's do that. Okay, fantastic. Now you heard Sergey's phone just there, did you not? Did you hear that little bleep? He's on the admin. He just got a notification, which they will be getting. And if I go check right now, you'll notice, don't approve it yet, Serge. You'll notice the status is pending. You see this? You need to give these humans a day or two to review. What they'll do is they'll come in, they'll look at your submission, they'll make sure you didn't say anything off color, and they will either accept it or deny it. If they deny it, you'll be emailed and they'll tell you why they denied it. You forgot this, you left this out, so you won't have to be calling them up. You certainly could, but they'll at least be able to give you a reason. So right now it'll be pending. Serge, Nate, would you mind? Oh, you have. Okay. So now if we refresh this, you'll notice that it's now approved. Serge just on his side went in, reviewed it, and pressed accept. Now this is approved, and now it's here in our active. And you'll notice this venue code. We'll get into venue code in 1 second, but you do in fact now have an approved venue for this year. Let's add a concept. Very similar. Concept name, my show. Description, some stuff. Categories that describe your concept. You can check off a few of these. Same kind of questions. Is it family friendly? Do you need help seeking space? Maybe I don't have a venue picked out. Maybe you'd like the department to help you out with that. I would check yes right here. Assistance finding artists to host, same thing. Number of proposed artists. Oh, I want my show to have about 20 people in it. Preferred environment. I need a sunlit space. Sunlit. I guess that's how you spell it. Proposed days. I want to run the show both Saturday and Sunday. Venue code, we don't need to put this in now. Let's say we didn't know what venue we were going to work in. Let's leave it blank for now. We'll go back and do that later. But again, we must check this important box again. Same things apply. Same if you had a concept in 2016. In order to rejuvenate it, you would click that and save it. Okay, Serge will approve that, but it's the same thing here. You see it's inactive, but it's pending right now. Serge, if you wouldn't mind, while I add a piece of artwork. Here's the most exciting one. Artwork title, my art. It will auto-populate my name into this top level artist. Here's another difference from last year. Last year, we didn't have a field in case you had a friend out in Tennessee, he didn't want to sign up, but you wanted to include his name, whether it be on the printed map or online. You now have an opportunity to type in, comma separated, my friend and his friend, other artists. So you can add as many artists as you want here. Of course, they won't be registered through this process, but at least their name can get some recognition if you don't think they want to walk through the registration process. They don't get artist profile pages, they don't get some of the benefits, but they can in fact be listed. We must say our art would probably be fashion and dance, I must say. And description, we'll do that. Let's put a thumbnail up. Now, whatever picture I put up will be squeezed into a square. So I recommend putting up a square, so you don't have to start worrying about distortion and things like that, but there it is. Family friendly, do you need space? Preferred environment, if you don't have space, I need sunlit. Enter code, again, this can be done later. Same thing, gotta check it here, otherwise it's all for naught. So, there it goes. And now we have, you heard his phone, he just got a little notification. Now, these two across the board are summations of this top one. It's not terribly clear, perhaps this should be indented a little bit, but of the active concepts, I have one that's empty and one that's occupied. We haven't hooked this concept up to any artwork yet. We haven't hooked this concept up to any venues yet. Same thing with this venue. This venue doesn't have a single piece of artwork in it, and it doesn't have a single concept in it. But we're going to start linking those now, and I'll show you how to do that. Same thing with this. Either your artwork falls into a venue, or it's in the pool. And the pool, let's go to the pool first before we start linking things up. The pool is where any pieces of artwork go that have not been attached or signed the venue yet. And everybody has access to this pool. You click pool at the top, and you get a list and a photo of all of the beautiful artwork that has been approved. You know their medium, you know if it's family friendly, you know the name, and you know the artist. To reach out to them, you click mail. I like that piece of art, and you get an opportunity, not knowing their email address, but you get an opportunity to say, hey, I work at this venue, I'm putting together this show, let's talk, let's get together. And this is the platform. You do that, they'll get an email to their account, and they'll be able to reply. And I would leave them your contact information if you wanted them to reach back out to you. Because if they click reply on that email that they get, it's not going to go to your email. So give them some contact information in here if you want them to reach back out to you. So this is the pool. Now, it doesn't really work in the opposite direction. This pool is not going to show artists empty venues. It's not going to show artists empty curatorial concepts. It's for venues and curators to find art, not really the other way around. So, that's the pool. Now let's link some of these together. A piece of artwork can be linked directly to a venue, or it can be linked to a venue through a concept. Let's do that. If you click on our active, and these are all buttons as well. If I want to see just my empty concepts, I click empty concepts, and it should, excuse me, give it 1 second, please. Let's go back. Okay, so we got an approved show here. And you'll notice we have a concept code. I'm going to take this concept code, copy it, and if I give it to my friend who has a registered venue, he can paste that in, but I have a registered venue. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to edit my venue, I'm going to go down to that field, I'm sorry. I have to put this, it goes the other way around, excuse me. Let's go to the active venue. You grab the venue concept code, and you paste that in to your concept at the bottom. You paste the venue code into the concept. This is how you link the venues and the concepts together. You press paste, and you save it, it'll run through. Now all of a sudden, this concept has both a venue code and a concept code. And we'll notice that no longer is the venue empty. It switched over to occupied. It now has a show inside of it. And if we go click on that, you will notice that it has one occupant in it, this venue. So now we want to link up the artwork to that concept. Let's go back in here, grab our concept code, paste it in our piece of art, save it in there, and now we have one piece of artwork. It went from in pool, when we first started it was in a pool. Now we've given this piece of art a concept code, which is linked to the venue, and now all three of these are linked together. So now when somebody opens the map and click the pin, at the top it will say the venue's name, beneath it will have the concept, and within that concept you will see the artwork. What's wrong, sir? That's a good way of exhibiting it. So yes, within that venue you have your concept, within this concept you have this artwork, and this could list forever and ever and ever. That's a nice way of kind of staggering it and seeing what's inside. Now, I don't have to go through a concept to get into the venue. I could have just put that venue code directly in the artwork, and that's what most people will be doing. But if there is this curator between the art and the venue, you need to input the concept code as well. Okay, you want to make changes. Let me do a couple other things. You want to make changes to your account, change your password. You have this account button at the top. You want to add more social media. You didn't get a chance to do it in the beginning. You want to change your home address. Oh, now I go by Johnny. I want to change it to Johnny. You can do all that and press save. The only thing that you have to keep in mind, if you make an edit to your profile, it does have to run back through the Department of Cultural Affairs. They do have to take another look at it. So you'll notice that that will go to pending now. They'll have to approve your changes. Okay? Artist web pages. What else? What else? What do you think, Serge? Shall we open it up to some questions? I'm going to head up there. Let's do an artist web page. Right now, you'll notice you have a link. Everyone's going to have a link on the upper right-hand corner to your own personal page. Remember at the beginning when we registered, we type in the jcast.com/ and we put a little URL in there? This is going to be a link to your page. I'm going to pull up an example of one. That's the Reina. Yes, sir? Is it the JCAST or this?
You can pull the one that you just made
It's grayed out. Okay, so we'll do Reina.
off your profile. Just
Oh, well, my name with John? Did I put John as it? Let's see.
take it from the account.
Yes, okay. This is, I put something else, but this is what the artist, we haven't finished styling it up yet. These are not yet public, but this is your personal user page. Well, you'll have your bio from when you registered. You'll have all your social media handles here, and you'll be able to receive emails. Nobody's gonna see your email address, but if somebody wanted to reach out to you, they could hit this, and they'd be able to hit you with an email. And then you'll have 3 tabs up here where people can go see John Grayson's artwork. They can see his venue, they can see his concept, and they'll all be listed there. And this is a public page that you can share on your social platforms. These are not yet available, but we're working on styling them out now. So yeah, this is just kind of the raw information there. Talk to me more about the concept codes, the venue codes. This is the thing that is the trickiest and that we want to get people accustomed to.
Does anybody have questions?
I have 2 questions. It's not really specifically about the bios. It's more generalized user question. Is there going to be a digital map on the website? Last year it didn't work that great. So, well, I'm not going to go into that, but yeah. So that's being updated and improved for this year. That's awesome. As a user.
This year, last year, there was a little bit of confusion about who's being listed. My concept wasn't listed, so this year we've kind of ironed out the hierarchy. Okay, venue, and then concept, and then user, and they will all be listed as such. On that map, when you click a pin, all of the usernames will be listed there as links, and they can click the link of an artist name, and it'll take them off to the user's profile page.
Oh, that's great.
Or get directions to the venue, or do some geolocation. And yes, here's the tab right here. And once we get some venues registered, we will unleash that.
Okay.
And you'll be able to pull it up. And all this works just as easily on the mobile as it does here.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
so
so
the
it all
mobile is
folds
going to be
down.
like an app?
It all folds down mobile, and you'll be able to access the map just the same, do geolocation and all that stuff.
That is so awesome. So thank you. Kudos.
How do you change the password?
Yeah, the passwords that we generate are not friendly. So, when you're logged in on your dashboard, you have this account button up at the top. You hit that, and you made it yellow. Right underneath your email, there's this change password button. This will pop out. You pop the old, you put the new, you repeat the new, press submit, and now it's your new password. Good question.
So I did go on the website before I came to the meeting, and I noticed there's no other years available. Will you put like a gallery or something together from maybe last year or?
The years available in terms of stuff.
So it's like 2017 is all that exists now, and because the artist tour has changed names over the years, changed websites, there's no central place to go and find all the information about the artist tour. And it would be, it would be really wonderful for people who are coming into the city to know that this is not a new thing. It's been around for a long time, and to have some of the history and to have some of the photos from some of the previous years.
Timeline would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It was our aspiration to do that this year. Last year we talked about getting this platform up solid, and then we'll add features, history, timeline, interactive timeline. You scroll back to the 70s and you see the old Department of Cultural Affairs had kind of hanging things. And then the website wasn't as solid last year as we had hoped, so we rebuilt the whole thing.
Okay.
And now those kind of features are aspirations for next year. But yes, it does seem, this is the 26th annual.
Yeah.
This kind of seems as if this is the first one, a one-off. So yes, that timeline, that interactive history is certainly something I want to bring to the site. But we first got to get this foundation solid first. And that whole notion of switching over from, I need an account to be a curator, I need an account to be an artist, we had to wipe that, and we have this solid foundation now. So hopefully that's something that we can.
Okay.
For this year, we could add in, I don't know if it would be another tab, but we could add in some information just because it's not there right now, which is just about the art tour, like the history art tour.
Yeah, or
And
even
it-
just
a
a few
really small
photos, because,
paragraph.
you know, that really draws, I know that right now we're talking about users, but in order for the public to come in and engage with the users and engage with the event, there has to be a little bit of that. Because that's me. That's what I do. I've been going to the event for years. I've lived here for 17 years. So I have a plethora of history with the artist tour. And, you know, to me, this doesn't excite me to go to it, you know, not because it's not beautiful. It's a beautiful design, and I really am very excited that you're making these changes.
But it does not champion the previous 26 years, if you're correct.
Right, just if you could just do something like a splat on the home page, just something that like gives people a little bit of a taste, and then let them get engaged into the in particular artists that they feel like, oh, this is in my neighborhood, or oh, that art looks really cool, you know. But I think you need to have like a little bit of that on there just to keep people on the page and then to click through onto the artist, because if people get bored right off the beginning, all these artists can put all the information in that we're talking about tonight, but they got to get to that. So people got to kind of be engaged right off the get-go.
Yeah, these things will start to illuminate. You'll have some FAQs and some bus schedules and some sponsorship packages and some volunteer information. But in terms of championing the history, we have to do a better job of that. Because otherwise, what's the point of shouting that this is the 27th annual if it looks like the first one, right?
Yeah, and so when the registration is shut down on, what is it, the 14th, we will change. What will change also at that point is all the information on the homepage will change. You know, and then maybe John and I can work together at least to get a brief history together, which maybe not as robust as what we envision for next year, because of time and money is usually what it comes down to. But just for now, I agree. I think adding in a little bit more of that information will excite the public, and also kind of talking about what we were talking about earlier within the presentation is bringing to life that whole tour aspect to it. So we want to make sure that the public is aware of what this is aware of where it came from and where it's growing and what we want it to do for the community. So I agree, and I think that for now we can definitely get something that is a little bit more robust in there.
And anybody in this room that has kind of maybe a picture from their experience in the tour 17, 20, 25 years ago, maybe we can start to compile those and make some sort of history. I'm not sure what kind of archive City Hall has kept, but I can really envision being able to slide the timeline all the way back to 77 and seeing the first tour or what have you. That would be great. This gentleman.
An observation and possible criticism. You showed that when we upload a piece of art, it goes into a square. Terribly distorted. If this is going to be used for curators to decide on art, I believe you really have to address that.
It gets jammed into a square for the thumbnail view. However, when you click on it,
Okay.
it will blow up to its full normal proportions.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. The second observation is I noticed that you did not have a entry for our websites.
Yes, I do. Show you. Both on the user page and on individual pieces, under this little drop down here, where you have Facebook, Twitter, there's also this globe here.
Okay.
That's the World Wide Web.
Yep, the icon.
That's the one. Perhaps a word next to the icon would be.
Perhaps just very straight, website.
I just want to know where the PowerPoint presentation's going to be, where we can access it.
Okay, so we're going to be uploading all of this information. We're putting together a little video, and we'll work with John to get this on the JCAST website, and then we'll also put it on the Cultural Affairs website. So it'll be showcased on both. Yeah, and Facebook and all of our other outlets. Well, those are our three main outlets for this event. So that's where it'll be. So I think that what we'll do is we'll probably include a PDF of the presentation, and then also we have a video that we'll be putting together.
Do you need to be a Jersey City artist to be to put your artwork in the pool?
No, only venues.
Okay,
Only venues.
all right.
You can be in any type of artist, but you're an artist.
Yeah, you can be from anywhere.
Okay. As an artist, is there going to be like a limit to how many thumbnails you can put up?
One per piece.
Okay.
So that is a good question. 2 years ago, I put up a piece into the Jersey City Art and Studio Tour. It was 26 letters. Now I could have gone about this 2 ways. I could have added 26 pieces. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Or I could have put them up as a collection. That's kind of up to you. You get one thumbnail per piece that you add. So if it was important for you to have all 26 thumbnails, you have to add 26 pieces.
But there's not going to be a limit to how many you can put
Per
up.
piece, but as many as you
And okay, and second kind of question is, I just actually went on looking you up on Instagram, and it's all still last year. Is someone going to also be updating the social media before October?
We're actually working on combining a lot of our social media. So yes, we will be updating all of that information. Absolutely. So yeah, and I think one of the things that we could do is as artwork comes in, we can definitely share that. Also, just as a side note to that, I know many of you have already submitted information that has not yet been approved. It's not that you haven't been approved yet. It's just we had a little backlog over the week because a lot of people were submitting it simultaneously. So that will all be going through within the next couple of days. And then social media is something that we'll be adding on to that.
Just regarding file type, dimensions, resolution.
Oh, in terms of the photos? Yeah. JPEG PNG or is it just JPEG PNG? JPEG PNG.
Resolution, dimensions.
Do we have a file size, a limit on 5 or 10 MBs? 5 MBs. We should note that on it, yes? 5 megabytes, gang. But it'll tell you if you try to put it for 5.1.
If you're an artist that wants to open up their studio, you would register your artwork and venue?
Yes. And then you give yourself your own venue code, which is generated when you're approved. 4 digits, paste it right in over there, submit it again, and we're on our way.
You were mentioning that you wanted, I forgot the term you used, but, can kids see it? So, family friendly, thank you, that's the term. I do life drawing. I consider it family friendly.
The discretion of the department.
Yeah, and so what I would recommend.
I'm sorry.
What I recommend is just in your description, just describe. I think the way you describe your art and your show will really bring to life whatever that concept is. And
Right.
So I consider all life drawing being family friendly, but some people might not.
Right.
I think that if you're like, I'm going to do a show about pornos, well,
Yeah.
that might not be right.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
So I would just include information in your description, and if I have a question, because I'm the one going through a lot of the site, if I have a question, I'll just email you.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I have a studio at Mana. Is that, should we do it separately too, or is Mana sort of its own thing?
So, well, just with regards to how we are approaching Mana as a large venue, but if you have an individual studio, we're asking anybody who has a studio at Mana to actually submit as your own venue.
It should be the artwork and the venue.
Yes.
And that's where that subdivision comes in, very important. That subdivision is to be pulled to the map. That's how you'll be categorized. So there'll be Mana as the top level category, and then Suite 30, number 302 beneath it, and that's where you'll be listed. So that's where the subdivision is vital. Otherwise, you'll be kind of lumped in to the pin as a whole.
As a Mana thing. But I think if I'm remembering correctly, one time we were approached by Mana, and then we approached you, and then our individual studios were listed, or is it, there was, yes, which I'm confused now, and I will be confused when I do this, and I'll have to call and say, and get a person by. Is that possible? Once we do this, I can't do this. Yeah.
Just to jump ahead,
Right.
I recommend that you go ahead and submit yourself as a
Right.
vendor, as a venue, and
Okay.
as an artist.
Right.
Because what Mana decides to do in the long run
Right.
is out of our hands.
Right. Okay.
Each individual studio is run individually, so you can actually submit yourself then.
And if there's 20 different people that do this, and everyone's
And that's
right.
totally fine, and they
Let me
will each
elaborate.
be.
Let me elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
The way that the pins are created on the map,
Right.
longitude and latitude. After you type in that address, if there's any matching longitude and latitude, doesn't matter if you put in the venue code from here or there, if those match, you'll be lumped under the same pin. So it works both ways.
Right.
If the headmaster at Mana gives you their venue code and you plug that into your piece of artwork, that's one way of getting into their pin, but not under your subdivision. Or if you create your own subdivision. Both ways will get you on that same pin, but one you'll be underneath your room and one you'll be under the full.
Right. And we can always call and get a person on the phone if we're having trouble doing this. Thanks.
So I have two questions. One is, I've never done this before. I just moved to Jersey City. And Kat told me about it. So what's the approval situation?
Just to make sure that things are factual, and that's about it. I don't.
Yeah, basically, what happens, the way it works, is an email is generated. It comes to Anne and myself. It comes to Anne and myself. We take a look at it. I mean, I'll be reviewing all of them, and basically, it's if you have an address in there, I just want to confirm that the address is correct if you're a venue, or that it actually is in Jersey City. For the artwork, I'm just confirming that it is, you know, it not something crazy or really off the wall, or like, I mean, we're accepting everything, but if it's like very explicit or whatnot, I might write back to you and say, hey, this might not totally work, or maybe your description is needs a little work or whatnot. That's the only time, and I would kick it back to you, and then you have an opportunity to revise it and send it back. So it's not that you would be rejected from the tour. It's just to make sure that all the info, and also for us to make sure that all the information we're including in on the website and that we're including on the map is correct, so that the public can also find you when you're out there.
Okay, so that's my second question is, if you don't have a studio and you're not with the gallery,
so that's when you end up.
when you're homeless, where do you go?
Pool, and then a curator or a venue can search for you in that pool. There's like all these photographs, so they can go through them, and if they feel that you fit their curatorial concept or that your artwork works for their space, then they can reach out to you. Simultaneously, if you're really having a hard time though finding, this also, so being that you're new to Jersey City, it kind of can get you to go out, check out some gallery spaces, gets you going on and touring, because you're like, ooh, I like this gallery, there's this 313 gallery, or a gallery up in the Heights I've never seen before. It gets you out too. But if you're really struggling, that's why we also have our contact information. You can reach out to us and say, I can't find anything, can you help me? And then we have we'll have our whole list of galleries and venues that that we know that are available, and then we can just shoot them over to you.
Yes, if that's a concern, check off the I need assistance finding space, and that'll kind of categorize you in a separate list. When they go and look and do some searches in the administrative document, they can pull out lists of all those artists needing space. So just check that, and you'll have a better edge of getting a hand from the department.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I thought of something else. So there's no registration fee this year.
There wasn't one last year.
Well, I'm not an artist, so I didn't know. But it came to my mind, so I think that's important to put out there for you guys, because I think that's been a bone of contention to some artists, and not all, but some, and so you might want to be saying, registration is free.
That's a great point, actually. So whenever we do any of our promotion, I'll be sure to include that out there, and then we can even put that on the homepage.
So my question has to do with, you mentioned that you can say, I need help finding a location, right? And is that for an artist doing a piece, or can you do that as well with concept, with both? Okay, just want
that check. Need assistance finding space.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
You said you were trying to do more neighborhood hubs. Is there not going to be a big space like in the past?
So at this time, what we are planning is there will be a kickoff event, and it will be at either one of our partner vendors, venues, or possibly working with JCAST, wherever their location is, because they will be hosting a large show. So either with that, but we will not have a flagship location this year. No, there will be individual smaller ones, but not a large venue like we've done in the past. We're really trying to get people to work with us in making that tour experience happen. And so it's really up to all the artists and the venues out there to work with us to make sure that we can make that happen.
The hubs will be through shows.
Yes, all, the hubs will include shows as well. So they will be smaller shows, but it won't be one big flagship.
When will a printed map be available?
Okay, so that's a really good question.
I know.
So we are currently not planning on doing a printed map that will be going out to each location. It's the Hudson Reporter printed map. So
Right.
Our deadline is the beginning of September. That's why we need to get all of the artists and curators and venues into place by that date in August, because we have to get that in, all of that information in, and the map that is, we are designing that, and that needs to be in by Labor Day. So it will then be printed the following week, I believe, and it will be out there as it's a multi-page section, so it's something like 8 pages, I think.
It's similar to the Riverview Jazz Fest does the takeover of the Hudson Reporter, where it's like the splash page on the front, and the centerfold will be the map, and then there's going to be ads within it.
But will that be are they publishing that the weekend of the artist tour, or is that going to be the weekend before? Or do you not know that?
I think it's 2 weeks after. I believe it's 2 weeks after we have to get the art in is when they publish it. So it'll be enough time for distribution.
Available for distribution. And then I think we'll talk to them about maybe having overruns available at some of the various, at least at the hubs.
Okay.
But then the digital map will also be completely user-friendly and as up to date. It'll be even more up to date than the printed one. If somebody comes in after that print, this will be completely up to date. And as you see, there's a mobile version of it, so that as you're walking around, you're like, oh, I want to go to Bergen Hill, okay, well, let me see what's going on there. Is there a bike tour that's going on there or something? And so all of that information will be on that digital map as well.
Oh yeah, another question.
The Friday night event, what does that mean?
So it's a party. It's basically it's a party that we invite all of the participants to come out. We invite all the public, the community. It's an opportunity it's like a big giant meet and greet, and you put all of your blood, sweat, and tears into this, and we want to honor all of the artists and the venues and the curators who did as well. So
And where is that?
the location is still TBD.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but that information will come out as we sort of secure a location. Like I said, we're working with Robinson on hopefully partnering on a venue for that.
Thank you.
Didn't you also say that you wanted the artists to have their studios open on that same night?
Oh, no, that's
For the
during tour
kickoff?
itself. So
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So one of the problems I see is finding the hubs in each of the wards, like ASAP. How is that going to happen?
So that's, Ann just gave me so Ann and I are actually the ones who are doing that. So we have like a couple of days where we are hopping in the car and we are driving all around Jersey City and looking at various venues around the city.
When will that be known, or is that just something that will pop up if you're in the pool?
We will post that information as soon as we secure it. That information will be in that news section, and then we'll also share that on social media. Like, hey, we've identified, the 7 hubs for Jersey City, and here's where they're going to be.
So if you don't have a specific place to show, like say if I don't have a specific place to show, I just end up in the pool, and then you can put me there depending on the ward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can either end up in the hub, or a curator or a venue might identify you as somebody they want in their show.
Right, because I didn't see on the registration any place where it said which ward the artist is in. So I'm just wondering how that would, match up the. Oh, the home, right, of course. Duh.
So, in terms of one of you mentioned sort of alternative venues, library, kind of whatever community spaces that were alternative. And so, are you trying to connect? Are you guys trying to connect with some of those spaces, or is it the artists who are how is that? Because there's not that much time, right?
Yeah. So we're trying to. Ann and I are trying to do that right now to help out with regards to finding those spaces.
Yeah, in addition to the hubs, okay.
Yeah, so we're kind of trying to identify them. So right now, if there is a proactive venue that's going to go on the site, that's one way, and another way is that the Office of Cultural Affairs is trying to go out and identify as many other additional spaces.
But are you kind of pitching it to? I mean, I don't know what the vehicles are to those other spaces, but through almost like other agencies, or is any of that kind of cross
now it's just
Just you guys?
getting the-
Yeah. Because it would be great, right, if other people sort of knew, oh, here's an opportunity, right? So,
yeah.
here, Robinson.
I will say that I am meeting with several of the SIDs around the town and specifically asking them, because they know their own neighborhoods best, what venues would work for this and what venues, may have been in the past and might be new for the future.
So did you say that you were going to be posting the hubs when you locate them?
Yeah.
So then we can contact you and request that we be placed in that particular hub, or how is that going to work?
Well, Ann and I will have to figure that out, but we'll probably register them as a vendor. Love your word tonight. As a venue, and we'll identify that as one of the hubs. So it will be basically up there, and then as an artist, again, I'm an artist, right? I'm assuming.
Well, I'm an artist, but I'm also with a group, so we're both,
Yeah. So we'll work to make it as easy as possible.
I mean, so if you post, some address, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be in that. Yeah, we need to be in that space.
Sure.
What?
Yeah, and then
just
you'll also have our
email you?
addresses, and if you're like, you want to jump the gun and you're like, I don't want anybody else to have it.
Okay.
You're like,
Yeah, if you know the space, for sure.
That's fine. We'll do the best that we can to work with you.
Oh, did you? Right.
Hi there. I just want to make sure I have a gallery up in the Heights, so I want to make sure two things. One is that gallery we're open more often, so if we can get the printout of the Hudson Reporter earlier, so obviously you're going to give it to Hubs, but the Hubs won't be open until that night. But like a gallery, or the galleries across Jersey City will be open more. So if we can get that, if you could also tell us where the Hudson Reporter will be just out and about, or if there's a way to work with you to get these copies, because I'll have to say, in the Heights, I never see this ever. So even the Riverview Observer is really difficult. I have to go hunt for it up in the Heights. So, and if anyone knows a secret place, please tell me. But I just want to make sure that the places that are already open in advance to this get the copies of that.
Just downtown.
Yeah. So then.
You'll never see it in our neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, we'll bring some up to you guys. Who else? Did somebody? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You had a question, right? Oh, okay. I started walking away. I'm sorry. That's okay.
I've lived here for almost 20 years, and I used to live there when I lived in the Heights. Yeah. Well, that's good to know, actually, and thank you for informing us of that. So we'll work with them on getting overruns, basically, and making sure that all locations have overruns.
Yeah, and like I said, if the earlier I can get it as being a gallery open, the more I can get it out quicker.
Yeah.
We'll be open beforehand.
I guess my question's sort of already been answered, but a lot of us at this table are from Pro Arts, and we were, I guess, were we promised a place to show, or we weren't? No, we weren't. Oh, okay.
Well, things change. It's going to be different.
Okay.
Can I just say, I spent a lot of time last year building walls. This year is going to be spent finding spaces. So don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to make sure that that's where we want to put our energy, is finding spaces for people rather than having one space that kind of
Consumes
everybody's time, and not that many people end up going to in the long run. They go for one night and then they don't go the rest of the weekend.
Right.
That's not a tour. So what we're trying to do is really get people out there into these spaces, viewing the artwork, interacting with the artists. I think that's what's more important right now.
Okay, good. Yeah, don't worry. We got you. Oh, I'm sorry. I know, all these good questions.
Will you be having shuttle buses?
Yes. Yes, we will absolutely be having shuttle buses once we determine what those hubs are and then all the venues around them. So that will be coming part of stage 2. And then additionally, like we had mentioned earlier on, we will work with other groups and other organizations to form more organized tours as well. So you can hop on the shuttle bus and tour yourself, or you can join like the Bike JC tour or something like that. And so we're going to work on making sure that's also very available to the public. Like I'm from a corporate communications background, so I feel like the more information you get out to the public, the better it is. And if nobody knows about it, and if nobody knows where you're located, and there's no way for them to get there, they're not going to get there. So that is one of the other things we're trying to focus on, is how to get that information out there, making sure it's accurate and it's working properly.
Thank you.
And shuttle stop pins are going to be listed on the map as well.
Yeah.
My questions?
Great. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I know it was a long presentation, but for us, this was invaluable because everything that you asked was really important and will help us make this a little bit more vibrant. It will also help us with the program in general to make sure that this can be a very successful studio tour. As Kat said, she's been here a long time and seen it change, and we want to make it change continuously moving forward for the better. So that can only happen with your participation and an agreement to work with us. So thank you very much, and thank you for coming out. And please do come to the other event that we have in a couple of weeks, I guess.
The 8th of August.
7 to 9 on the second floor. It's in council chambers, and then there'll be a reception in the rotunda.
Thank you for the feedback, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.